but effective.
Welcome to another episode of the Education Series with D. Walter and Associates. Today, negative gearing. It's been in the news after the federal budget. So let's run through what the rules have been and what they are going to be. Okay, so we'll start with how the rules are now. Property expenses are deductible. Deductions against all income, so rental income, your employer or sole trader, all everything on your income tax. And if the expenses are higher than the income, losses can reduce the tax owing, and this can result in a higher tax return. Pretty simple and straightforward stuff. From the 1st of July 2027, the expenses incurred are still deductible, but they only count against the income generated from the investment. So they can only reduce the investment income to zero, and then any excess losses are carried forward that can then reduce future years' investment income. So, for example, if you've got a rental property and it becomes positively geared, some of those previous year losses can be used to offset that positive income. So this example makes more sense to you. So if we assume a $500,000 interest-only mortgage with 6% as the interest rate, 400 a week as the rental amount, and then we assume 6,000 for all the other costs that are deductible, and the investor has a total income of 130,000, which is the rent and their salary. Okay, so pre 12th of May, 36,000 deductible expenses, 20,800 in income that's your negative gearing. That's your loss of 15,200. Taxable income reduces by that amount, so the tax payable overall, your negative gearing is worth about $5,000. From the 1st of July, the expenses stay the same, the income stays the same, but the loss or the negative gearing caps out at zero. So the income remains unchanged at 130, but the actual taxable income does not reduce and stays at 130. So in the end, you have those 15,200 as an offset against future earnings. They don't count in that financial year. There are some exemptions. So investments purchased before 7:30 on the 12th of May, they retain the old rules. So these are all grandfathered. Negative gearing into brand new homes also retain the old rules. So as long as it's a brand new build, any existing principal place of residence. So if you bought your own home before 7:30 on budget night on the 12th of May 2026, and you subsequently move out and borrow and rent that place out, you will retain the old rules. What does it all mean? So negative gearing remains attractive into new dwellings. It's just not as attractive as it was into existing properties. The assessment of of the expenses for the gearing has changed. That you no longer receive a refund, and you're capped at the income received from the investment, and excess losses are carried forward. As mentioned earlier, when the property becomes positively geared. Okay, final thoughts. Negative gearing has always been a nice advantage, but it has never been a reason to borrow funds to invest. The quality of the investments has always been the overarching reason to do it and to generate wealth. The changes are not a reason to dismiss property investment either. If it is a good quality investment, by all means do it. One thing I would note is buyer beware, especially with brand new off the plan property investment. Do your research. Make sure it is right for you. Consider other asset classes when borrowing to invest, so shares and ETFs. But above all, always seek advice from your accountant or your lawyer or your financial planner, just to ensure you're making educated decisions in line with achieving your goals. So that's hopefully that helps with a little bit of a rundown on negative gearing, and look out for more information coming through on the education series. Cheers.
Boring.
but effective.